who rocks mics and rocks them well, yo.
It's the biz, baby, it's the biz. It's the biz, baby, it's the biz. It's the biz, baby, it's the biz. It's the biz, baby, it's the biz.
All right, welcome back to the biz. It's been a while. The world still sucks, so we'll just get into it. Welcome, John Maiello of Dead Bars.
Great to be here. Thanks.
Now, we can't play shows right now, right? It's just, you can if you're a fucking asshole, but like, you can't play shows right now.
Yeah, we're not playing shows, that's for sure.
So, I recently saw that Dead Bars did a pop-up shop. And will you explain to the audience what a pop-up Dead Bars shop is?
Well, first off, I don't know. This might be my first time on the biz. I'm not really sure, but if it is, it's definitely the first time in an official capacity. So I appreciate you having me on. But
oh, absolutely, it will not be the last time.
All right, let's see here. So, all right, we can't play shows. So, what do? Dead Bars puts out a live album, and that is that is my way of essentially, you know, it's for the fans, it's for folks that were looking forward to seeing us, and the live record is a really good representation of, you know, of a Dead Bars show. So pick that up. But essentially, you know, we couldn't do a record release show.
Right.
So I was thinking, you know, what can I do to kind of do something local that's fun, that to promote the record, you know? So we have a lot of friends that own businesses and own bars and whatnot in Seattle. And we decided to do a pop-up merch store, essentially similar to, I'm sure you guys have, you know, gone to food pop-ups, and, you know, it's all outside and it's
safe and distant.
Social distancing and outside. And I was like, well, if there's food pop-ups going on, and why can't I do a punk pop-up, you know? So
merch pop-up, it's great.
So that was the catalyst for it, was really to promote the live record and to just do something fun that was safe in our hometown and stuff.
Every band, no member wants to be behind the merch table, and now they're like, give me the merch table. Well, so Rebuilder did a similar thing, which is funny because we didn't talk to each other about it. Nope. And it was completely just coincidental. But, you know, I came up with the same thing too. I was just kind of like, I see that, you know, there's outdoor things going on that, you know, there's obviously outdoor restaurants and there's patios and things like that. But I was like, you know, maybe we should just, I've been trying to get rid of a lot of stuff, selling things to try to make some extra money since I'm not working. And like, I was like, well, we have the tent. Maybe we just set up the tent in the parking lot and bring our own personal records and stuff, or maybe just like set up the Rebuilder merch. And Harley from Choke Up was like, why don't we just do that at O'Brien's patio? Which I was like, yeah, I mean, if they would let us, like, I'd be down for it, which made sense too, because like, you know, the thing is like, O'Brien's is hurting too. You know, we've been losing venues all over the place here. What's better that way to, like, you know, help a venue out, but also like celebrate your existence as a band. Like, I haven't seen a lot of my friends in a long time, and I was really excited that like we were able to do this thing. We all had masks. We could see our friends. Our friends bought some stuff, and then like I'm sure we have different laws by where we live, but for us, O'Brien's just has seats out back in the patio, and if you were to drink, you had to be at a table. You could not you couldn't get a drink and just walk around. Like, you had to be at a table, and you had to order food as well. And you know, like, we were there from probably 2 to 7, and every single person that showed up was well behaved. They sat, ordered drinks and food. If there were some people that showed up and they were like, I just want to buy some stuff and get out, and we were at capacity, and they were like, all right, they're like, yeah, cool, like make your way to the back, buy a t-shirt or whatever, and then you'll exit through the back too. And it was great. It was awesome. And it felt like I was doing something that I wasn't putting people in harm's way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we also did ours at a small venue as well that had to kind of shift gears and essentially just do kind of food, and they have a small patio, but they're allowed to you can get drinks to go here now, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, they have a small patio that I think, maybe you could do like, I don't know, 20 or 30 people or something like that. So it wasn't a huge footprint, but it was really cool because they had a great night. The bar had an awesome night. They sold a lot of drinks. They sold a lot of food. And then we had a great night because we had folks, same thing, like friends coming by that I haven't seen in a while. Folks that have been following the band for a little bit that for whatever reason never got to see us live, and now that they can't were like really upset and kind of regretful. And two people in particular that I never met before that live in our hometown like came out specifically because they're just like, I've been trying to see you, or I've been missing you this whole time, and now I can't do it, so I'm going to come support. And that was super cool. Like, it's two new fans right there or whatever, two new friends, and it was a good time, man. I mean, I think the whole thing that you're getting at here is be creative, stay safe, and also like doing shows that restrict you from what we're all used to doing, in my mind, isn't worth it. I'm just gonna wait for the time where we can all get together and be sweaty and do the thing like how we used to do, and however long that takes. I'm not gonna do maybe I would do a drive-through show. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying.
So that's the thing is like, I did have a couple people reach out to me because I mean, I'm not hiding it. I've been very vocal that I think if you are playing a show right now, you're pretty irresponsible. And maybe not everyone, but I will explain because I've had people reach out to me and be like, what is the difference between what you're doing and someone who's playing live is doing? And, we have in New Hampshire a drive-in venue. We don't have a lot of drive-in venues, but there's one in Connecticut, there's one in New Hampshire. And I see the people that are playing there are huge artists. And they're lucky that they get to do that. I saw Frank Turner in the UK is doing shows like that out in a huge ass park where you buy a very certain section. And the difference is that, like, if you are someone that big who can bring in enough money to fill a drive-in of that sort, then, there's people hired there to make sure everything goes well. That means maybe it's a smaller staff than usual, but like they're letting you know what you can and can't do. It is not my job to tell you what you can and can't do. If I'm that musician, you don't want someone up there being like, oh, that person doesn't have a mask on. Like, no, you need a security and team to do it. And this is why these big artists can do it, because they're like, and let's get one thing straight. Those huge artists are not making as much money as they used to. They are doing this to make some income. It's probably pretty good, but it's probably not nearly what they used to get to. And this is why you see a lot of artists that had full bands are going down to just being like, it's just me acoustic for 3 hours or something, and that's a huge artist. Then, I see these smaller artists who are trying to do a social distance thing, being like, I'm playing on the patio acoustic. And I have some other acts playing too. There's like 4 people playing. You have now, like, you're asking people to show up between a very specific time too, because a lot of these people are only playing for maybe around half an hour. So you're asking, let's say they're popular. Let's say, if it was a Rebuilder show, like I will say right now, like Rebuilder could comfortably typically draw around 100 people. So if I was like, okay, we're playing this parking lot or this patio at a bar, and we're playing from 2 to 2:30, I'm now asking 100 people to get together in a very short space. And maybe not everyone will get in. So now am I causing now a line outside because I've caused all these people to get together? Let's say they all get in. And let's say people are being distant or whatever. But I'm singing without a mask. Well, talking, like, you can spread these droplets in the air, but singing, you can spread it up to like 30 or 40 feet. Like, you're projecting, you're launching this. And, like, I think that is like, what's like, why is it's not worth it at all? Because even the people that I see doing that, I'm seeing that it's weird that they're almost banking that they're not even popular enough to be able to draw enough to make it a problem, which means they're not making any money off of it. And it's like, if you're not even getting paid, well, during a pandemic to play, and you're not even drawing a lot of people, then like, what the fuck is the point of even playing a show?
Yeah, I mean, like, so I purposefully didn't like make a Facebook event or anything like that for this because I kind of thought the same thing. I was just like, what if like, a couple hundred people show up, and I really didn't want that. I didn't want the bar to get overwhelmed.
Right.
So it was just something, I think I only put it on Instagram. I don't even think I really put it on Facebook. And I just, a flyer and the time, and that was it. And then the bar reposted it as well. And I think throughout the night, if we were there for a few hours, probably between 30, maybe 50 people, some people just stopped by to buy some merch and then they left. And the patio itself safely could hold probably 30 people. So even when we were packed, it was everybody at their individual tables and obviously. So yeah, I mean, it's tough calls. I think that for us, we're not playing any shows until
it's just, because the thing is, like, I know you love playing shows. I love playing shows too. It's the time in my life where I feel the most comfortable. It's the thing that makes me the happiest. And, like, me and Daniel work in venues and I work for other bands, and it's my livelihood. But the fact that we can't go back to work and work in the venue just shows you that it's not safe. It's just not. Right. So, it's just, and like, we'd love to get back to work. It's just not safe. And that's why, I was worried about the pop-up too, because I was like, what if too many people show up? And the only thing that made me feel okay about it, I was like, well, we're going to be there for a really long time. Because I was like, we'll just stay there. I have nothing going on that day. We'll just stay there. And, it was cool because it came in waves. Like, we were at capacity in the back with 20 to 25 people at one point. And then after a half hour, those people left, and then a new wave of people. But no, there was never a line. It would just kind of naturally happened throughout the night. And it was great. And, we were even the bar said to us, they were like, we haven't been busy. They're like, we haven't been busy at all. We usually have a couple people back there. We're open usually from 1 to 7. And it's dead. We just, and the staff is down to a bartender and one person that mans the grill. And they're like, for the first time in a long time, you guys allowed us to work. We worked, we fucking slung drinks, we made food, and everyone wore their masks and everyone got to be safe. And they were like, thank you so much for doing this. And we hope other bands would do this too, because this worked out so well, And, how much did Dead Bars make for a pop-up?
But I don't know the exact number, but
estimate.
Three or $400.
Rebuilder made, once I counted all the merch, it was probably around $200, $250 worth of merch. That's more than we've gotten paid for some shows.
So definitely. Definitely.
So the thing is, if our merch table can sell out a venue and get paid more than what we could for playing a show, you don't need to be playing a show right now.
We're just a store now.
We're just yeah.
We're just a store. Yeah, we're a retailer.
But that's what's great,
But You know what it is though? I really think people are itching to do something social that is still within, like the safety kind of guidelines. So if that
Absolutely.
means come in, and also like, stores were closed, real retail stores were closed for a long time, so I mean, even just like getting a new t-shirt, I mean, that wasn't a thing for a little bit, so it's like, we have a very limited web store. I think you guys have maybe a little bit more, but we only have a couple things in the web store. So when we had, all of our stuff up there, we did pretty well for just, having basically the stuff that we were going to have for a tour. We had a lot of
Yeah.
touring plans this year, and those all went away. So we had a lot of extra stuff kind of around. Plus the new record helped. Like we were actually like promoting a thing, so I
Right.
felt pretty good about that.
Totally. Let me so let's talk about this live record for a sec. I think everyone for people at home that don't know Dead Bars, people might be like, "Oh, that's cool that this band booked a live show and promoted it to record a live set." And we're like, "Yeah, we're going to do a live record." But that's not how this went down.
That's not how this went down. This was, like, this is a classic example of being like open about a lot of possibilities, being consistent, and then being adapting to your circumstances, because you're right. We had no plans this year to release a live record. We had no plans to record a live record. I didn't even know we had a live recording until about March or February of this year. And yeah, essentially, we got to open a show that the headlining band hired a guy to come and do basically record the whole show.
What
And
band?
we opened a show for the Bouncing Souls, who were headlining their 30th anniversary show in New Jersey, which was really cool. And I guess what ended up happening was we were opening, so we got a sound check, which was great. I think that actually benefited us because the Bouncing Souls got a sound check, and then the middle two bands, they only really got a line check. They didn't really do a sound check, as far as I can remember. I could be completely wrong, but from what I remember, they
That's
didn't really
typical.
Yeah, but since we were opening, like we had time to do a full on sound check. So if you're a band and you get to do a full sound check, you have this really great opportunity to make sure that you feel good about where you're at and your levels on stage, and you perform better. Bottom line is, bands that don't do sound checks, if you are awesome, then I feel like you are an extremely lucky band, because for us, like, we realize that the sound check is really important for us. And but yeah, I think we got some good sounds, and long story short, we performed. I wasn't even thinking about anything being recorded, and a year goes by. It's February of this year, 2020, and we just played New York City. We sold out a Brooklyn show with us headlining, which was awesome. And I'm at the bar after the show, and I see the engineer who engineered that show a year earlier. And I just was like, "Hey man, I don't know if you remember me. I'm John from Dead Bars. We played, and he's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "I remember you guys." He's like, "Totally. I have your whole show, your whole set on my hard drive at my house." And I was like, "Oh wow." I was like, "That would be cool to hear. I would really like to check that out sometime." This is in February. When we get back from that tour, I mean, the day I got back to Seattle, there was like a huge coronavirus outbreak. Like, Seattle got hit way before the rest of the country. And I just remember being like, "Huh, that's interesting." And then fast forward like 2 weeks later, everything's shut down. And that guy, John, the engineer, he, I guess, was out of, everything was like, kind of like, "Hey, there's like a lockdown going on," or whatever. Like, don't get in groups of, social distancing was a thing. And he had some time to, I guess, pull up the files, and he sent it to me, and I was like waiting for something to not sound right,
Right.
because
Right.
it's like, how could this, like, somebody had to make a mistake or something wasn't mic'd properly, but I listened to the whole thing and I was like, man, this is really good. And so essentially I just asked him to do a rough mix. I mean, I didn't even really like, I didn't intend to like really have it professionally, really fine tuned and done. I was like, it sounds great, just do a mix and master, and he did it really quick and sent it to me. And then we had 2 or maybe 3 tours this year that got canceled. And I thought about, well, what could we do? And I thought at the time that would be really cool to release a live record, to kind of just be like, this is the 2020 thing that you would have heard on tour. But unfortunately or fortunately, it's now going to be pressed onto wax, put it on your turntable and enjoy it. And we'll be back next year. And so that's how it went down. I feel like a lot of bands that our band included, if we were to plan the live record, there's no way it would come out as cool as it did. So,
yeah, I mean, there's, I feel like when you know that something's live, especially like we've recorded live only a couple times. And there's just a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure to be like, did everyone play everything right? I remember when we recorded, the radio session that we did years ago. It was just like, there were takes that I was like, yeah, I played great, but someone else didn't. And they're like, nah, I'd like to do another one. It's like, okay, let's do another one, and there's no, it's a different way of recording for sure, because there's no fucking Pro Tools. There's none of that stuff going on. And, we're doing it directly to tape. But I think the magic of this show is that you guys didn't know it was being recorded, and that, it was such an important show for you as a milestone for Dead Bars to finally open for Bouncing Souls.
Yeah. It was, I think it was, we were really like prepared, for lack of a better word. Like we knew what we were going to do. We were really like in the zone or whatever. I don't know the right word for it, but we were all there for one reason. And it was to just make sure that at 22-minute, I think it was 25 minutes was like our slot. And I just remember being like, we can't go below 22 minutes and we really can't go below or above 25. So I was like, we timed it so that it, depending on what the banter would be or whatever, that it would be within that. And sure enough, it's like right under 23 minutes. And I just remember feeling really good that like we did what we set out to do. And I remember when I got the recording this year, I sent it to you and you were like, don't do a live record.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you like, cause you sent it to me. You were like, I think we're going to do a live record. And I was like, I was like, I don't think you should do that. Like, you're like, well, it's already been done. And I was like, can you send it to me? Cause I had flashbacks to like when we did Pipeline, like the radio station, we did a live session right before Rock and Roll in America. And I remember getting the files and being like, this is terrible. I think I've listened to less than half of it. And like Daniel brings it up every once in a while. He's like, it'd be cool if we did that again. And we did something live. And I go, yeah, it would have to be great though, because the last one we did fucking was garbage. And when you told me you had something live, I was like, oh my God, there's no way this is like awesome. I was surprised. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think once I realized that a lot of bands, I guess, like go into it like knowing that they might do edits afterwards, maybe their heads are different. But I think you're right. Like knowing that we weren't being recorded and then just being pleasantly surprised was why I really wanted to release it. Because, and I wrote this too, like if you buy the record, like on the back I like wrote a little story about about the show and stuff. And it just says like, there are no edits, no overdubs. This is just how it happened. Like we never even took out the like the banter. Like we just
Right.
ripped through a 23-minute set, and that's it. So I feel pretty good about it. It's total one of those things where it's the circumstances led us to this point. And so
But
that's like what I said about,
that's what's cool, is
yeah.
that it was circumstantial. It's not like, and I think that kind of is the magic of Dead Bars at times, and this just kind of fits in that wheelhouse.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I think it goes back to like what you were saying about like um just always trying to think of like what can we do? So
Right.
like if whether it's doing a store, and then it's like, well, we could do it at our hometown bar, or whether it's like, do we have anything that's like, and I know you guys did like a recording too. You want to talk about that experience, or maybe that's a different this episode?
uh no, we can keep talking about it. Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to like it's a matter of like, what can you do right now? I will say that like the pandemic has been difficult, not only because like we lost our jobs, but because like I kind of felt like I figured out what I was doing during the pandemic, and I was like, cool, I take vocal lessons now, I take guitar lessons. I was like, I watch a shitload of Netflix, but then I do biz episodes, I learn TikToks, I learn all this stuff that's going on. But that kind of all went away from me when a lot of the police brutality became very apparent, and a lot of the riots and things like that. I was like, I can't put on the velour jumpsuit and feel normal. I can't. I couldn't be the funny guy or make content really, because I felt it was too inappropriate. But I still played my guitar, because my guitar and writing songs can be therapeutic at times. And it takes me years sometimes to write songs. Some songs come together quick, sometimes don't. And the song Monuments that we did came together very quick. Like I think I wrote it one day. I recorded it on my computer, just the idea of it. Day 2, I wrote the lyrics. I showed it to Daniel by day 3. He said it's great. I said I think we should try to do this right away. I know we're still working on a full length record, but let's see if there's a way of us recording this song for free, and then just giving the money to charity, because like it's about what's going on now. Let's do something. And luckily I just happened to find that we could record it for free if we got selected with the 617 sessions, the people that do the Boston Music Awards, which I know Paul from the Boston Music Awards, who owns it, and he's a really nice guy and likes to do things to help out. So he was like, yeah, you can do this song, you'll have a day of recording. And we had a day of recording, and it was done safely. Like, there's only so many people that could even be in the same space in like the control room. Like, I did vocals in a completely separate room so I could take my mask off. When we tracked some of it live in a room, it was like a really big room, so we were very far away from the drums, and we had to wear masks while we were doing it. But the song came together really quick, and we had to wait until it was to be released, which was last week on, I think it was the 18th or something like that, because it had to come out with a compilation of other people. And Jay Moss remixed it for us, because the original mix was fine, but like I'm used to how things sound. I wanted it to sound with his sound, so I sent it to him, and he was like, I can remix this for you, no problem. And he remixed it for us. And then Christian Moken did the artwork for us. And everyone just kind of contributed. And we were able to release this song and be like, we are doing something. And it feels like we're doing something for, the greater good. And we're even recording a song this Friday coming up for another cause that, for a buddy of ours that we wanted to like help out. So it's like, but that's the thing, it's circumstantial. It's these things that come about. I don't think that I could have sat down and been like, I should write a quarantine song and have it come out the way it needed to. It was literally just a reaction of like feeling really fucked up from everything that's going on, and being like, this is just coming together because it's kind of just coming out of me writing this. And I think that, when you don't force these things, it becomes special, and you can kind of, I hope people can feel that. I don't know. I hope so. But I think they can. And it's more genuine. I feel like I'm not full of shit when it just kind of comes together, you know?
Yeah, man. I really like that song a lot. And it is, yeah, it's all about, um, like working with the people that you love and believe in to make something special. And I think you guys succeeded at that. And plus, this is like a new kind of like, I don't know, isn't this like a new kind of era for the band too for you guys? Like
A little bit. It's, and that's kind of one of the things too, was that, things were changing in Rebuilder towards the end, just because Craig was leaving the band and Brandon was like, I'll still be around, but I don't know how much I can tour. And we had been using Harley from Choke Up to play drums for some shows earlier that year as well. And it kind of became this thing where, me and Daniel were kind of like, well, we still really like this band. We might be able to be more streamlined now. Like, I think that Rebuilder, like when we made Rebuilder from the beginning, we wanted it to be kind of a collective of like who's around anyway, but we were able to have the same lineup for a long time. And it was one of those things where it kind of like, it worked out that like Harley's not working right now either. Brandon isn't, but he moved to Salem, so it's harder for him to get down. But like for this next song we're doing, Brandon's actually playing guitar on it because he's around for some of it. And Harley is more around to play drums for some of it. And it's like, even when we go in and record the rest of the record, Brandon's on drums for some of it and Harley's on drums for some of it. So it's like kind of trying these new things out that we're doing and trying new people out and seeing what does kind of Rebuilder look like going forward with having people jump in and out of the mix. And it's been actually a lot of fun to do because like, I've never written songs of Harley before. And and he has a lot of cool ideas, just as like Brandon has really cool guitar ideas and ideas for songs too. So yeah, it was really nice to be able to like, kind of like as we go forward, see this new era of what Rebuilder is,
Yeah, definitely. And that's what's really cool is like, I feel like you're like, we're all going pretty fast. I know like that we had a ton of touring like this year mixed with like working full time and relationships and everything. And, I just remember being like, this is an okay opportunity to just kind of
reset.
Take it back and do a reset. Yeah. And so we're, we're looking at it the same way. And, I really enjoyed the Stuck at Home shows. I thought those were super cool at first, and I did a couple of them as did you guys. But I'm not a singer songwriter guy. It's like I can only do so much, and I feel like I can only do so much to even satisfy like our the people that want to watch.
Yeah,
so I did 3 of them.
I think audiences are kind of getting restless or sick of them too, for some extent. I think you can only do so many of them, to be honest, because not to fucking keep on ripping on people that are playing shows, but there is a venue here in Boston that is doing like live stream shows, and it's completely unsafe, but they're live streaming them, and I see them pop up on my feed, and I see it's like there's 5 people watching. I'm like, during a live stream, you're only getting fucking 5 people watching. Like, dude, like what's like? There's no point in doing it. It really isn't. I think
cool.
we.
One thing that I have been thinking about, and this is when we went to the pop up. I was talking to the one of the owners at that spot, and it's Belltown Yacht Club for the plug, but they are a small venue. I think maybe 150 capacity room, but it's like got really cool atmosphere and just like it just feels really good in there. And I think that the future maybe could be like some sort of hybrid situations going forward. Now that bands have been doing the the streaming where, like, for example, with this particular club, there's a band from out here. I think they're in LA now, but Big Business is a band that doesn't really tour that much,
Yeah.
but they're a great band, and they have a fan base, and they came up to Seattle and they did basically two. I think it was two, maybe it was just one night, but it was a sold out show at this particular venue, and it sold out like instantly because it's a small room. And I think like you might get bands that have fan bases that want to sell out a club, and then maybe there might also be like you can buy like you know 1,000 tickets for this live stream too at $10 a pop or something for like people around the world. That might be a thing.
I honestly think that it's not a matter of it might be a thing. I think it might have to be a thing because like if we are able to go back to some venues that reduce capacity, there literally won't be a way of making enough money to make it worth it unless you have another way of bringing in money. And I think having a live stream going is a great thing. I think that should be implemented in every venue. The one thing is like, cause like we've even been talking about this, like we wanted to like even try to do a live stream real show that is not fucking just my iPhone on the wall recording me, like mic'd up, different camera angles and lights. And I think that, if you're able to do that, it's worth people's time to pay money towards. You can charge $10, 15, 20, because you're like, well, things are going to cost more now because like there's more overhead and all this stuff. But yeah, I think that, if you have a venue where they just implement being like, all right, we have 3 different camera angles, everything's mic'd, everything goes through the feed. We've paid for high speed internet here and we're charging $10. Like, I mean, I don't see any reason to not do that. It's just a matter of like if they can implement it. But I think we're going to have to because, yeah, if you can only let 30 people in the room or 50 people in the room, how are you going to make up the other money,
I'm even saying like just whenever we can go like full on sold out sweaty, the fact that there's a precedent for it, like people, in Europe or, Asia or wherever that can't come to the show or the band never tours there, they're going to want to do that every once in a while to, pay the whatever the admission and support and like, check out a show.
Totally. Because there's plenty of shows I've worked that are sold out shows. And if they're sold out and someone's like, well, I can't go, but I can stay home and watch it. There's no reason to not do that. I think it'll be a great thing, but I think that, you can't charge and just have the one camera image, No,
it's got to be dynamic for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it'll be cool. I mean, that you might even create another job in every venue now in the bigger venues where there's a camera operator,
Oh, and a separate person doing the mix for the stream probably,
Right.
like there might be
Totally.
like a whole different kind of studio engineer doing on the side that's different than the front of house, different than all that other stuff. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool, I like I said, it's not for me right now, but down the road, I see that sticking. I think it could be cool.
For sure. Well, I'm glad that Dead Bars is doing something between a live record and pop-up shops. I think it's awesome. And I'm glad that you guys are thinking of other ways and still, keeping people safe. Because ultimately that's the thing. You want to keep people safe that enjoy your band or even people that don't like your band,
Exactly. And, just try to, like at least here, it's like the weather's going to be turning pretty soon. I was like, this is like might be one of the last days to do an outside thing. So that's why we kind of did it. Yeah, no, safety first, and we'll see how this all shakes down. But I appreciate you, supporting and, and congrats on the new song and all that stuff. So
Thanks, man. We'll end this portion of the interview. I'll end the recording, but we'll keep talking after that.
Okay.
But yeah, who put out the last live record?
Me and my friend decided to do a little start a little vinyl label, and so
What's it called?
Surfridge Records.
Surfridge. And where can people buy it?
Deadbars.com is the best place to order it right now. We do all the mail order ourselves. You can also go to surfridge.org, or I think, or maybe it's Surfridge Records. I don't know. Deadbars.com is the best, but yeah. So it's just like, we started a little vinyl label. And we're doing our own kind of thing from now on. So we'll see how that goes. But it's been super cool. Everybody's been super supportive. We had a lot of pre-orders, and then now we're trickling in a bunch of orders as it's been out, and I love it. It's on digital stuff too, and hopefully we'll see y'all next year.
Well, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks.